You're welcome to Introductions to New Testament Greek with Moses Ife Adedoyin. Be attentive. Keep following. Don't go away. God bless you. You're welcome back. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. In our previous lesson, we considered verbs of different form. Luo verb, the verb luo as a pattern for verbs that has omega as their inflection. And we have considered the el verb, that is verbs that has their stem ending in epsilon. On our lesson 5, we shall be considering nouns. The set of nouns that we shall be considering ends in omicron, sigma. Omicron, sigma. So, our lesson is titled Second Declension Nouns in omicron, sigma. Nouns, just like verbs, are much more fully inflected in Greek than in English. So for the second declension nouns, we shall consider logos as a sample pattern for the declension of verbs that ends in omicron, sigma. Now, to decline logos, we are going to be considering the singular form and the plural form. And there are certain categories which are going to be considered. And that is, before we go into the declension, let me briefly give you more details on the categories. We have the nominative. The nominative simply means a word in a subjective form. That is, nominative is a subject. Subject is regarded as the performer of an action or the doer of an action. The other class is the vocative. A word that is said to be vocative is said to be addressing. So, vocative is an address. Like you have, O Lord, O God, O Word. That is vocative. Accusative is another class. Accusative is the objective form. That is to say, an accusative word is an object. The other class is genitive. Genitive tells or means possession. Just as we have the man of God. The man of God. So, of God is genitive. Now, the last is a dative. Dative is an object. Why accusative is a direct object, dative is an indirect object. So, when we have accusative as a word, then we have dative as to a word or for a word. Now, for a declension, the singular first. Nominative for logos is logos, a word. That's the subject. Whenever a word comes as a subject, then we make use of logos in a Greek translation. Logos, a word. Vocative is loge, lambda, omicron, gamma, epsilon. Loge, that is, oh Lord. Oh, sorry. Oh word. Oh word. Oh word. In another form, you may decide to put word with exclamation. But that is loge. Accusative. The accusative for logos is logon. Logon. So logon is a word, but in the objective form. That's the objective form of logos. The genitive, logu. Logu, of a word. Of a word. So logu is translated of a word. Of her word. Dative is logo. Logo. Logo, you can see iota subscript on there. So you don't pronounce the iota subscript, but it must be included in your written form, your writings. When you write logo, you have to add the iota subscript. That's to show it is in the dative form. So logo is translated to or for a word. To a word or for a word. Now for the plural form. Now the nominative plural for logos, that will be logoi. Logoi, words. Vocative is also logoi. Accusative is logus. Logus, words in objective form. Genitive, logon. Logon, of words. Of words. Dative is logois. 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 Alright. So there is no indefinite article in Greek when, therefore, a word like logos stands alone. It usually means a word, but it can mean simply word. But you know, in English, to show indefinite, we just say a word. The right translation is nearly always obvious from the context. Now, in English, if we want to show that a word is the subject of a sentence, we nearly always put it before the verb, while the word, which is the direct object of the sentence, is placed after the verb. If we invert the order of the words, we invert the meaning of the sentence. In the sense, when we say, an angel finds a man, an angel is the subject of the sentence, and a man is the object. If you therefore do the placement by putting a man before the verb and an angel after the verb, then you've changed the meaning, and that will be a man finds an angel. So therefore you need to know the subject and the object and try to do the right placement in order not to invert the order of the words, giving another meaning. So the first sentence that we are going to be translating is, an angel finds a man. In Greek, to translate an angel finds a man, already, can you remember our verb vocabulary, whereby we consider the word that means I find? Do you remember that? Good. What is I find? I find is eurisco. Good. Now, when you have an angel, that is a singular subject. A singular subject will also go with what? A singular verb. Now, an angel represents E, right? So with that, it will go with the third person singular verb, which is eurisque. The translation of the word man in Greek is anthropos. Now, looking at the case in which a man belongs, that is accusative. So if anthropos happens to be translated to be a man, then in the accusative form we have it as what? Anthropon. Good. So an angel finds a man will therefore be translated as angelos, angelos, eurisque, anthropon. Angelos, eurisque, eurisque, anthropon. I repeat, angelos, eurisque, anthropos, anthropon. Now, just take note. Angelos is what? The subject. Why? Eurisque is a verb. The verb in the third person singular form. And anthropon is the accusative case for a man. So in Greek, the meaning of the sentence is still the same if we invert the order of the words, unlike in English. So if I write anthropon, eurisque, angelos, already it's just that the accusative is placed before the verb, while the nominative is placed after. And you can therefore say that the ending still remains. The inflection for each of the nouns still remains. Only if we have anthropos and we have angelon, that is when the meaning will therefore change. But since we have anthropon, eurisque, angelos, it's still the same as saying angelos, eurisque, anthropon. So just take note of that. So Greek is in its order is different from that of English. Before translating an English sentence into Greek, it is necessary to know which word is the subject of the verb and which is the direct object. So the subject can always be found by putting who or what before the verb. In the first sentence that we've considered, an angel finds a man. You can therefore ask the question, who finds a man, in order to know the subject. The who finds a man, an angel. And that's to tell you that looking at the English structural arrangement of the sentence, an angel is the subject of the verb finds. Understood? Now, for the direct object, how do we therefore find that? Will be asked, or we say what? Or what? An angel finds a man. That would therefore help you to identify the direct object. Now, transitive and intransitive verbs. Many verbs, such as meno. Do you remember meno? Good. Meno means I remain. So, many verbs such as meno cannot have a direct object. Verbs which cannot have a direct object are called intransitive verbs. Just like you see, Jesus remain loyal. Remain loyal. Loyal there will not be what? A noun. So therefore, it can't be a direct object, but is an adjective. and in fact a predicative adjective. So words such as menu are regarded as intransitive verbs, for they can't be given a direct object. Can you try to translate this? L'allumen logus. Try it. L'allumen logus. Okay. Well, I can't actually verify if you're correct, but just try to correct yourself if you are wrong. L'allumen logus is translated we speak words. L'allumen, we speak. You remember that? Logus, in accusative case. So, l'allumen logus is translated we speak words. So, l'allumen logus is transitive, for it has a direct object. But when we say l'allumen, we make that expression intransitive in the sense that it is not given a direct object. So you now understand the transitive and intransitive verb. So l'allumen will therefore means we talk. That is intransitive. While l'allumen logus is transitive. Okay. Let's quickly go over to number. This is also very, very important. Verbs agree with their subject in number. If the subject of the verb is a noun in the singular, the verb will be in the third person singular. If it is a noun, in the plural, or two or more nouns joined together by hand, the verb will be in the third person plural. Oh, let's consider the following examples. A man raises a stone. A man raises a stone. When you say a man raises a stone, a man, singular subject, will definitely agree with a singular verb. And that is to tell you, a man on which he will stand in place of, tells us that we are therefore going to use a third person singular verb with the singular subject, a man. So a man raises a stone will therefore be translated anthropos hegerei lithon. Anthropos hegerei lithon. Can you identify the verb? Hegerei. Hegerei is a third person singular, while anthropos is the nominative singular form of the word translated a man, while lithon is in the vocative case, the objective, direct object. Now, anthropoi egerusin lithon. Now we are going over to plural. The plural subject agrees with a plural verb too. Plural verb in English do not take S. Do you know that? Good. So anthropoi egerusin lithon is translated men raise a stone. Men raise a stone. Now let's look at compound subjects. Compound subjects. Anthropos kai angelos egerusin lithon. Anthropos kai angelos. Kai is and. So anthropos kai angelos shows that we have a compound subject, a man and an angel. Now, which verb would therefore be used with this? The third person plural. The third person plural verb. And the third person plural verb of egero is what? Egerusin. And that's the reason why we have anthropos kai angelos egerusin. Then a stone. in the accusative case, which is just singular, would be what? Lithon. Lithon. Wow. I believe with the explanation, you should be able to therefore give translations based on what we have done so far with our nouns and verb. Let's consider translation for vocative too before we go over to our vocabulary. Oh Lord, you save. Can you translate that? Oh Lord, you save. Don't forget that vocative is just a case of address. So that will be what? Kurei, sozei, kurei, sozeis, kurei, sozeis. Oh Lord, you save. So that is it. But in the our vocative case may also take the omega with a smooth breathing. In another form, you may see kurei going with omega. That still remains Lord. Do you get that? When we have O kurei sozeis, it still means Lord, you save, just as an address. O kurei sozeis, Lord, you save. If that happens to be a question, don't forget, what will differentiate a statement from a question is the punctuation. The words will not change. The punctuation will differentiate a statement from a question. Now, if we want to have Lord, you save as a question, that will be Lord, do you save? Then we have it as O kurei sozeis with the punctuation. Good. Or we say kurei sozeis with the punctuation. So just take note of that. Let's go over to the vocabulary. Here are the vocabulary we are going to be considering under lesson 5. The first, nomos. Nomos means law. The next, ophthalmos. Ophthalmos, that means eye. Another one, paralytikos. Paralytikos, that is paralytic or a paralyzed man. Another, potamos. Potamos. Potamos means a river. The next, presbyteros. Presbyteros. Presbyteros means prebester, or we say an elder. The next, topos. Topos means place. The next, philos. Philos, that's a friend. Another, phobos. Phobos means fear. Fear. So, we have another word which is used as address, which is a vocative, which can be used with a word in the vocative form, and that is oh. Oh, it means oh as an exclamation. Another, we have kai. Kai. Kai means hand, hand, or sometimes even, or also. So the word kai could be and, even, or also. Another word, Israel. Israel, that is Israel. Israel. Another word, Judaios. Judaios. Judaios means Jew. The next, Pharisaios. Pharisaios means Pharisee. The next, Christos. Christos is translated Christ. Angelos. Angelos. Do you remember the gamma nasa? So when we have gamma gamma, you pronounce it as ang, hang, hang. So not agelos, but angelos. The word which means what? Messenger or an angel. The next, agros. Agros. Agros means feed. The next, adelphos. Adelphos. That is the word that means brother. Brother. A brother. Another, anthropos. Anthropos. Anthropos, rather. Anthropos. That is a man. After that, we have apostolos. Apostolos. Apostolos means an apostle. That is apostle. The next, diakonos. Diakonos. That is a servant or a deacon. The next, didaskalos. Didaskalos. Teacher. That is a teacher. So, I am your didaskalos. So, didaskalos, teacher. Ectrus. Ectrus is another word. That means enemy. Oh, enemy. That's what you don't like to hear. And here is another one people don't want to hear. Because it's an evil, but inevitable. Everyone will die one day. And that is thanatos. Thanatos. Thanatos means death. 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 The next is tronos. I know you will be happy to hear this. Everyone wants to get a throne. So the word which is translated a throne is tronos. And the next is cosmos. Cosmos. Cosmos means world. 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 That is common because we still have that even in the English dictionary. The next is curious. Curious. Curious means Lord. 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 The next, Laos. Laos. Laos means a people. A people. So, the singular form. The next, lepros. Lepros. Lepros means leper. Leper. The next is lithos. Lithos. What's the meaning of the word lithos? Lithos means a stone. A stone. Logos, which is going to be the last word we are going to be considering. That means a word. A word. So, I say a word. Go, logon. In the accusative form. Well, thank you for participating in this class. Do you have questions? Then drop them at the comment box. Definitely you receive response to them all. Thank you once again. God bless you. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, chi, omega.